used to cry. Oh my god, I used to cry so much because when he travels alone, people would send me videos. Oh, have you
Hi
seen Maya with
guys,
this
welcome back
girl?
to the channel. Listening to Miss Trudy made me, begin to ask questions like, didn't you know this was the condition before you married this guy? Like, didn't you guys date very well? And the thing is that we have been following Miss Trudy and Woody Maya for some time. She coming out to complain about certain things, even down to complain about Ghana's most popular food. Fufu and banku, abi what? All those stuff that are making the Ghanaians get angry and mad at her under the comment section. The truth of the matter is, the thing is, these two persons are travel vloggers, right? Wodemaya and his wife, Miss Trudy, they are travel vloggers. Wodemaya was not traveling and Miss Trudy was not just sitting at home and he met her. No. Okay, she was also traveling and he was also traveling, so she should have known better. Okay, if both of them can be traveling, to places like let's say Malawi, places like Zimbabwe, Nigeria, US, UK, Canada, they've been traveling all along. Okay, so there is no way Wodemaya has not brought Miss Judy to Ghana several times for them to even taste those foods. Now she's kind of saying that there are certain meals that she cannot even think of eating in Ghana, and it's making the Ghanaians feel bad. You know, Ghanaians, they're feeling bad in the comment section. You guys know that Ghanaians are some like, they don't like anyone talking down on their food. Even till today, their soup and Nigerian soup, they are still fighting over it. What about the popular jollof rice again? Just because Nigerians said our own was better, they are still fighting over it. So you dare not marry to their own soil and you come and say that fufu is this, fufu is that you don't really like it or whatever. Trust. And then let's talk about what she actually said about them not having time for themselves, and how sometimes when Wodemaya travels, she feel like, oh my god, she's seen him other women and all that. Miss Trudy, you cannot tell me that when you travel, you don't meet other guys. Because you meet other guys doesn't mean that you're cheating on your husband, and because your husband is meeting with other women doesn't mean that he's cheating on you. I think we should just understand this, and I believe that Miss Trudy understands this. So, but it's just the interview that we're just having, because if you look at it, it's a very simple thing. Do you expect Miss Trudy to travel to a particular place and nobody is there to take her around? She will not mingle with anybody. She will just be with her camera and just be moving around like tolo tolo? No, because like that the vlog is going to be boring. So they have to go to places, meet with people, like the time when the Maya traveled to Namibia, where he met with those naked women, half naked women. They were, all their breasts was out, beautiful standing breast, and the Maya had to take a picture with them. And I remember Miss Trudy actually made a video with the Maya and said how jealous she was when he did that. And I was wondering, could it just be for a content, or she really meant it? If she really meant it, then you are also a travel vlogger, for goodness sake. Do you know how many millions of views that particular video brought to your husband, for him to be able to afford a car for you, luxury lifestyle, luxury house and all that? So I believe that Miss Trudy should have understood better. It's just like somebody that is getting married to a doctor and you say you don't know that doctors have to do calls, and calls might fall in the day and calls might also fall weekend, calls might also fall midnight. You can do calls in midnight. They can call you. Your husband might be sleeping over in the hospital. You get? So do you now want to say, oh, I don't like the fact that my husband is sleeping off in the hospital? You are married to so person. Doctors do calls, nurses, medical scientists, pharmacists, we all do calls. So just imagine that you're married to a doctor, pharmacist, medical scientist, a nurse, and then you be expecting that because you're married to them, they should not go and attend to patients in the clinic. Doesn't make sense, right? Doesn't make sense. Most of these categories of persons do calls, except maybe you have grown to a certain level in the cadre in your profession, and maybe calls might be limited. Then maybe you might be on call, but your juniors will be working. Maybe you might just be at home, and then maybe for emergency cases they might call you. But most of the times you are practically in that hospital even at night. So a woman or a man married to a nurse, a doctor, medical scientist, pharmacist should know that sometimes their wives, as long as you're working in the hospital, we're not talking about people that work in the ministry, you get, maybe NGOs. We're talking about those professionals that work in the hospital. Okay, So you have to just understand that and say, this is who I'm getting married to. You have to understand it. Your husband is a travel vlogger. You have to travel. Also talked about the fact that there was a time he said, I would have put out the video here, but due to copyright issues, might not put all of the video right. Now, according to her, there was a time Wodemaya sat her down and said, no, you cannot be following me everywhere. Because she thought that if Wodemaya is going to Malawi, she will go to Malawi. If Wodemaya is coming to Nigeria, she will come to Nigeria. If he's going to Kenya, she will follow him and go to Kenya. And he said no, that he cannot do that with her. That she said she was heartbroken and started thinking about her life. For me, thinking about your life, that you already knew this. Even when Wodemaya was getting married, we were like, we would have reacted on it. We're like, only God knows how they're going to do this, their travel content. But we know that the moment Trudy get pregnant, Wodemaya will be doing the content, the travel content, while she will sit at home, because only Wodemaya's income can take care of Miss Trudy luxury lifestyle, okay? So she doesn't even need to work. But this one now, she was expecting that both of them will be traveling together, and the guy said no, he cannot be everywhere with his wife. And you know, there's a way you'll be everywhere with your wife, and some persons might not want to come and join you to create that content when you go to visit that place. They might be like, there's a way I might be talking and smiling with this man, and the wife will get jealous, so let me not go there to show him around. You know, when they come into a country, they will get either a content creator or someone that knows around that place, and then they will maybe get that person, pay that person to carry them around the place. You get the point. So I think maybe that's the reason why we didn't want to be doing it alone. You get the point. So for me, that's that. And then she talked about the food. Now, for the food part, if you are married to a particular tribe, I feel you should know their food. At least with the man and Miss Trudy, they'll be married for at least 2 years, I think. And for me, by now she should have been able to. I know that it's not something to force her, right? Because even me, you can marry a Chinese man and you might not like to eat their Chinese rice, or you don't want to eat their food, and the Chinese man will not want to eat gari and eba. That's Nigerian meal, egusi soup, eba, swallow, all this amala and ewedu. They might not want to eat it. Okay, same way in Nigeria here, we have different tribes. Okay, and now you can be married to an Igbo man, and this Igbo man probably loves oha soup, ofe sala, and da 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 da. And if you don't like it, you still learn how to cook it, and then once in a while to try and just like to eat it. Okay, you get, there are certain soups I don't even cook as a single lady before. Not that I don't know how to cook them, but they will never cross my path. Like I will go to the market and say, is that particular soup I must cook? You get. But when I got married, I started making my own husband's, tribes food, and I started making their own local meals, and I make them so well. You get. So the thing is that you have to just, I don't know how to put it, you have to mix yourself with the thing, and not, now the Ghanaians are angry that like you're talking down on their food or something. I know Miss Trudy was not talking down on the food. I watched that video. She was not practically talking down on the food. She's just saying that she's still trying to get used to the food. And people are mad at her for the fact that why are you still trying to get used to food for 2 years? And you and Wodemaya dated for a longer time. It's not as if they dated for just 2 months and they got married. That means Miss Trudy had the opportunity to go to Wodemaya's house, did certain things, see his mom, know how to do 1 or 2 things. You get. When they got married, I noticed Miss Trudy doing some vlogs where she would say, oh, cooking so food for my mother-in-law, cooking fufu for my mother-in-law, meaning that she put in the this thing to learn. You get the point. She tried to learn. There was a time when she did a particular video where she said she was doing fufu that was inside sachet. You know those supermarket fufu now? Those one that you buy that is already fufu, supermarket, all these and the mother-in-law was like, no, she does not like that for fufu. She liked the local pounded fufu. And Miss Trudy was like, what? You get the point. And I understand. Miss Trudy is somebody that is also a boss lady of her own. She doesn't need Wodemaya's money per se to survive. You get the point. But since you are married to this person, and as Africans, you just have to do what he likes. And I'm not saying that Miss Trudy does not do what Wodemaya likes, right? But she should just understand, okay, and stop feeling lonely, because according to her, she feels lonely most of the time. They're not together. Both of them are always flying. Even when she's around, sometimes she feels bored. She feels that she's lonely, and she feels depressed sometimes. And I'd be like, now, well, see, this marriage of 18 is not easy. It's not easy. But I always say that marriage is fun when you marry your best friend. It's fun because you understand this person so perfectly. You get. So I'm not expecting Miss Trudy at all to be complaining of travel. When both of you were travel vloggers when you met. When Wodemaya was not in the house, when people were not married, were you missing in that much? Now, this is not me saying that it is easy to marry a man that is traveling around the world. But what if you're married to a pilot? I've used the example of being married to a nurse, married to a doctor. Now I'm using an example of being married to a pilot. Okay, what if you were married to somebody that have to go to the rig, like people that work with all these oil companies, that sometimes you go to the rig, like you might not be back for like 2 months. Huh? Like now, okay, what of people like Adeze's husband then, as at then? Do you see him all the time at home when Adeze's husband was like one of our content creators in Nigeria here? Then what of Nello? Her husband too. They are in Nigeria together, but the husband is doing another business in Lagos and he hardly even comes home. But they are still, mixing it. I feel that Miss Trudy should remove that mindset of I'm just lonely, I'm just lonely, and just know that somehow you are going to be doing distance relationship, and know that this is your husband's job and you cannot be flying with him every time. Let me even tell you, even if he's carrying you and flying with you now, moment you get pregnant and then you give birth, babe, you're not traveling all the time again. You cannot be keeping the kids and be traveling all the time. Somebody got to be looking at the kids, okay? Even if you have 13 house helps and 50 nannies, you have to still look at your kids. So ahead, this marriage gotta be. I know that sometimes there are rumors where people say, oh, Wodemaya and Miss Trudy's arrangement marriage to get views and subscribers. No, I don't believe in that thing. I don't believe in that theory. You know why? These people have already made name. They had subscribers, they had views even before they are getting married. So what's the need of pretending to be married to get views? Not as if Miss Trudy is one of the most biggest content creators in Kenya. No, and not as if Wodemaya is the biggest content creator in the world. No. So why would they be doing that for? For publicity's sake? I don't know, but I'm just saying my own. I don't think so. But if you ask me, their marriage has been, peaceful and blissful for a while. Just that, once or twice when they say certain things, people tend to say, what's going on? Like now that she said this, and I'd be like, this marriage is too old for you to still be bothering about these things. Yes, for me, this marriage is too old. It's already too old for you to still be talking about you not being able to this, you not being able to think straight if you travel and meeting another lady. Didn't you know before now? Didn't you know before now? My kind of job, my husband already knows that I travel. Sometimes I can travel for 2 weeks, you get, and that is my job. You get the point. And the partner you are married to will understand you perfectly. To me, that is just it. So I think both of you should just understand yourselves and live happily ever after. I believe that very soon the kids are going to start coming in. You guys are going to understand yourself better. Okay? So for Miss Trudy, for me, that is that. Get used to the Ghanaian food. Get used to the time spent alone. Get used to everything, because that is who you know him as before marriage. Okay, so it's not as if it's after marriage you now saw all those things. You've seen him always travel. You guys were always on transit. The only thing keeping you bored is that now you cannot be carrying you along all the time. You get the point. But I know that Wodemaya does not cheat on you. I know very well, because he looks like a very good man. And I know to you too, you're a good wife to him, because he's always happy whenever he's around you. Yes, and I know you too, you don't cheat on him. So just embrace that marriage. Some marriages, it's not every time you see your husband on the bed. For some marriages, you get, there are some couples that don't live together. Their husband is living in another place. The wife is living in another place. So just get used to it. Anyway, guys, bye for now.